Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Wednesday morning, guys. Are you frustrated with God? Are you side-eyeing God? Listen, okay, so I have a good sis who emailed me. Sis, you can comment if you choose. Again, you guys know I never call names. But I was reading her email last night and I got some downloads. And I wanted to piggyback and elaborate off of that email a little bit further. All right, so I do have hers pulled up because it's pretty long, so I don't want to summarize it. Good morning, sis. I need your help. Please talk me off of the edge. LOL. I don't know why, but I'm feeling this shift in my emotions and energy. I have been feeling anxious, fearful, and stressed. I have to get work done on my car along with everything else on my plate. My business is slowing down, and I only have one more assignment in October. Sis, if you realize I'm changing the words a little bit because I don't want to give too much away of who you are. I am working part-time in HR, and as of right now, things are tight. My birthday is quickly approaching, and I feel it will be the same as it is every year. I won't have money to do much with, and I won't have anyone to spend it with. I am feeling almost angry, frustrated with God. I am so tired, sis, of not having a helpmate, not having someone to help me. I am tired of being the strong one and doing everything by myself. Yes, I can do it by myself, but I'm tapped out. I can't relax. I can't just release because I have to always be on guard for the next quote unquote fire. To be honest, I just knew by now God would have sent my helpmate. After watching how much I have endured and been walking in faith. Now, supposedly these lockdowns are coming again, and I just knew he would have sent my helpmate before that. I'm terrified of the thought of being alone and having to fend and protect our home by myself. That is what the husband is supposed to do, not the woman. We're heading into very dark times. And he said, 2 is better than 1. 2 by 2. Yet we are heading into the 10th month, and yet I am still waiting. I don't understand how he could expect anyone to remain in faith when he gives them nothing to continue to believe in. It will soon be 4 years, and I am feeling discouraged. The money from the lawsuit has yet hit another blockage. Everything I have been standing for, I feel like a fool. I'm trying desperately to remain hopeful, but sis, I am starting to feel like I am walking around with fantasies in my head. And I need to get my head out of the clouds and face reality. It feels like a sick, twisted joke that has been played on me. People will say you have your kids, but they do not understand the weight of being a parent. I constantly have to pour into my children, and they constantly pull from me. I am tapped out, sis. I appreciate your channel, and it has gotten me through some really rough times. I am just over living life at the moment. To be honest, it doesn't feel like I'm living. I feel like I'm just existing for everyone else. Thanks for always listening. Listen, the reason why I decided to read your email is because I probably have over 12 different emails in the last 2 weeks. Guys, please give me 1 second, please. Okay, I hopefully this works. It's still early for me. I'm just half waking up, and it's just, never stops. I have over 12 or 13 different emails that they're bits and pieces that adds up to your entire email. People are frustrated. People are feeling emotional and spiritual shifts. People feeling like everything that God has promised them, it has been a quote unquote twisted joke. They feel like a fool. Da, 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 da. All these different emails are very, very similar to yours. So your email has been a very, very, very good email to go off. All right. First thing first. A lot of people are feeling a shift in their emotions and spiritually. Now, also understand too that sometimes, definitely for myself, when the seasons start changing, for me is that even though fall is my favorite season, it's that leaving summer and going into fall. There's something that emotionally happens where you just, I don't know. I mean, there's a shift in the season. So you have that shift going on as well. So you got to factor all that different stuff in. From a spiritual level, there is definitely a shift going on. There's definitely a shift going on. Now, here's what I feel. This is me. This is downloads I've received. Take it back to God. It may not be for you. But there's something that God is doing where, again, I spoke on this in the last several videos. He's taken that desire of the promise. Now, there's two sides here. Some people feel and know that he have taken the desire, but they still believe the promise. And then you have another group where it sounds like, such as yourself, where he took the desire and you feel like a fool, meaning it could have been familiar spirits, meaning it could have been your flesh, and you feel like a fool because you're chasing this fairy tale that really never was from God. So there's two groups of people here. Either group, I feel what's happening is that God took the desire for several reasons, right? For one, there are certain things that you need to be doing now that God needs you to do now. Like I just recently, like I was told, so I thought in the spiritual realm, that I wouldn't have an assignment for quite some time. But now I just picked up a new assignment that you guys will hear about soon. So some of you, God is actually calling you to help other people right now. There's an assignment. That can be for different reasons. Again, the demonic realm could have already caused some craziness on the other side of the promise, and God have to iron and straighten things out. Listen, sometimes God be protecting us, seriously be protecting us from things that we don't even know. So we may have had the green light to go, but the demonic realm already set up some type of booby trap, and God have to hold you to protect you. So he couldn't pull that desire back for that reason. Also, another thing that I got downloaded was, this is going to be some of you, your last test, your very, very last test. Because at this level, you should be at a stance where you trust God, even though, things look all the way left. Everything that God has said, honey, it looks all the way left. Nothing in the physical realm adds up to the promise. This is going to be your last chance to prove to God that you trust him, because it's easy to say we trust God when we see everything working in our favor, right? Right? Because there's times where you got the green light, honey, and everything's under your feet, and you're so motivated and you're so pumped up, you're so geeked up 1 week, and then the next week you're full of despair, right? So it's easy to trust God when you have the green light, but when things shift on you and you're not feeling as motivated and things are looking all the way left, are you going to still trust God? Because remember, you can't trust God based on what you see in the physical. That's not faith. Faith is trusting God when nothing makes sense. You got to know that you know what he's placed in your spirit. It shifts back and forth. It shifts back and forth. So you will be surprised to learn how many people will fail, and not you, because we ain't claiming that for you. We don't do that, boo, right? You will be surprised how many people who will turn back right now, because that desire has gone, and they're searching for a feeling. That's just like a relationship or marriage. Sometimes I'm not feeling you right now, boo. I'm not feeling you, right? but it's about a commitment versus the feeling. But because that desire had been so profound in our spirit for so long, that's really what kept you chasing this thing almost. Like it's like a maze hunt, right? You're searching for it when that desire was there. Now the desire is gone. It's like, I have nothing to search for. But God already gave you the promise. So what are you searching for? He gave you the promise. His word is enough. You don't have to feel a desire to continue to stand. So for the group of people who feel like it was a maze, it's been this fairy tale of a lie that the enemy concocted. Now, granted, there may be some people, right? Prayerfully not on my channel, because we know that we know that we know. But there may be some people who, again, have opened a certain door and allow the enemy to get up in your head with familiar spirits and things like that. And maybe you did concoct this whole story because you want a certain thing, right? God never downloaded that thing in your spirit. It was a desire of your own, which nothing is wrong with that. But again, you got to understand there's our desires and then there's God's desires for our lives. It's not to say you can't ever achieve your own desires. I do it all the time. But those desires you have to maintain on your own. So it's best to be in alignment with God ordained desires. God is then responsible for that. You're responsible for your own. So if you concocted this whole narrative about a kingdom blessing or about destiny season because it was somebody who you were madly in love with, but that was never even like from God, or a business or a ministry that you wanted, but it was never really from God, then I mean, it is what it is. But to those of you who know that God has given you a promise and you've been on this journey and you can't shake that, you've tried to shake it. You don't even want it. You don't even want it sometimes because it's so daunting. It's like, please just take this foolishness from me, right? But it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. Even when you released it. So if you ask God to take a desire from you because you ain't got time for this foolishness, you want to keep living your life and not be sitting here on this. You ask God to take the desire from you. And he may have took it for a day or even a week. But the thing keeps haunting you. You know that you know that you know that you know. For your group, for that group, that's the enemy. Right? Now, we already spoke about the God part, right? God testing you to see what you're going to do when things aren't really, or God may be protecting you or ironing out some things that the enemy then crept in again and caused some chaos in the promised land or whatever. Okay, spoke about that part. But now the enemy. What better way to get you to give up on the promise when you're already at the finish line? It's to put all that stuff in your head. Oh, it was all a lie. You fool. Y'all keep on following God. It was a lie. What better way for the enemy to get you to abort a promise from God? This is why I personally believe, one reason why God tells us to write the vision and make it plain. Now, granted, I'm not like the vision board person. I think that's a great idea. I'm just not that person, right? I'm more of a journal type of girl. And then God have blessed me, honey, with a memory. Like I'm telling you, I have like the memory of an elephant. Whatever animal have a great memory, I don't even know. But I remember everything. But then there are certain things that I have jot down. When you go back to look at those things, or you go back to read them, it reignites your spirit. See, you probably don't have anything fresh right now in your spirit. Go back and pick up that vision board. Go back and pick up whatever it is that God had you to jot down throughout this journey. Any promises, anything you ever wrote down, took pictures of or whatever. Go back and look at it. Because when you go back and look at those things and read it again, it all ignites your spirit. Right? It may not bring the desire fully back, but it ignites your spirit to let you know that there is no way in the world God gave me all these nuggets, all this stuff, all this stuff, all this stuff, all this stuff, and it was all a lie. God is very strategic. God typically don't give us everything at one time. He gives you bits and pieces of it. God goes silent all the time. Honey. I used to get ahead of God so much. Being the visionary that I am, I already see it. So I want it right now. You show it to me. Let me get it. Listen, God will go silent on you so quick. He will let you do what you do. And he's not going to harass your nerves about it, right? It's very subtle. Either you're going to pay attention to the conviction or you can go and, I'm not about to sit here and bang no darn, what do you call those things that you bang together? I think they're like instruments or something. Those big, y'all help me out in the comment section. To stop you. So when God goes silent on you, you can't get to, quarantine, like when the pandemic first happened, God went silent on a lot of us. Even some of the people who you really lean to for spiritual advice and knowledge, things like that, they had nothing. Because God was just tired with us. Seriously. And it's going to come again. Sis, I agree with you 100%. And a lot of people don't even get it. And that just hit me. I think that's another reason why God have taken that desire for right now. Listen. Obviously, God is not showing you some things, the same thing he's showing me. Listen, some dark times are coming. So all this mindset that so many people were wrapped up on, the glitz and the glamour of the promise, and that's so petty. I mean, it's not, but it's what I'm trying to say, what I feel in my spirit right now. That is so petty compared to what's really going to happen in that promised land. So the promise still is, but it's not all that fairy tale stuff that you assume. It's dark times in the promised land. So you will still have the promise. The promise will still be released. But it's dark times in that promised land coming. So God is also giving out a lot of insight, at least for myself. For those of you who are seers and you're going to be frontliners, things like that, God is giving you so much insight. And so he's taken that desire from this fairy tale of a promise that he will bring back at some point, because he's trying to get you to understand that there's some dark time approaching. And if you're not prepared, you and everything in the promised land is going to be messed up. So I'm going to snatch this desire about a man or about a woman. I'm going to snatch this desire about $1 million, right? Because I already gave you the promise. It's coming. Now let me snatch this desire, because you can't think about anything else, it seems like. Every other conviction I give you, I tell you to go back and pick up a journal from 6 months ago, because I gave you some y'all, I don't even know why I'm laughing. Maybe that's for me. I don't know. I've told you to go back and pick up some old notes that I had you to write down, because I told you that there was X, Y, and Z that you needed to do or start or get started. You didn't get started because you was too focused on this, that, and the other. I need you to go back and pick those old things up, because you're going to need it. I didn't give you those nuggets for a reason. I didn't give you those downloads for a reason. There's something that you're going to need to have prepared for the promised land. The promise is, but y'all don't have the full insight. This is why I give y'all, right, bits and pieces of it, because if I really show you the whole thing, it will scare you, because it's not all fairy tale. So I'm trying to give you bits and pieces of it. So I snatched the desire because you're thinking about this, the design of your wedding dress, or that you finally gonna be able to, her, like that's you. That's so petty. That is. But I'm trying to prepare you how to protect it. I'm trying to get you stationary so I can give you the right insights so you can build accordingly. The promised land is forever. This ain't no temporary where you can just walk off because somebody getting on your nerves, or you can walk off because the business is not. No, this is forever. So that's why I snatch a desire. One reason why I snatch a desire. Sis, you're like me and a lot of other people. You're the strong friend. You're the strong person. You're the one that everybody calls. Obviously, you're a chosen one because, like you said, that video that I shared on yesterday about the chosen one really resonated with you. See, this gift that we have of being the chosen one, and how we're so set apart to just, this is why we can't really connect to the average thing or the average person, because it's such a rare gift. Like, we're literally set apart for a specific reason on earth. Let that be to help people in different ways, But it's hard to find people to help you, as you stated. This is for a number of reasons. And I hope this helps some other strong people who you feel like everybody can come to you, but you have nobody to turn to. Which, truth of the matter is, you have God to turn to. But I get what you're saying. I deal with this all the time. I mean, probably 100% of my life, all of my life. But God gave me a new revelation about this some years ago, and it just really changed my life. It's not that people don't want to help you. People don't know how to help you. Do you see when people, I mean, it's telling right there. Everybody coming to you for the answer. You're the strong one, right? So that's a gift within itself that people really gravitate towards you. They think you have all this wisdom and this, that, and the third. So that's beautiful. But from their perspective, how do I help you? Because you have all the answers. You have everything. So how do I even help you? So we're side-eyeing people like, I mean, could you just give me some words for once when I'm down? Could you pour into me when they don't know how. They really believe that they don't have anything to give us. And in fact, they have a lot to give us. They're just trying to level it. They're trying to meet us at eye level. We don't really need you to give us what we give you. We need you to be grateful. We need you to recognize when we're tired, to not pull from us. Right? There's things that you can do, but I think when we get tired again, we get to this posture where it gets very frustrating, and then you got people who still pull at you, even when you're depleted. But you're the strong one, so they don't think you get weak. So it's not even, most people aren't even doing it intentionally. I mean, you got some selfish people out here who just want what they want, but most people aren't even doing it intentionally. They're not inside of you to feel that heaviness. They don't have the loads that you have. The average person is just living a regular life. They're working 9 to 5. They got, family, kids. They go home, cook. They go to sleep. They don't have all this heaviness of the world, of the spiritual world. They're not dealing with all this spiritual attack. I mean, they might have a little, but when you're chosen, when you're called, your life is on a completely different level. This is why it's crucial to not just accept any man who want to be in your life or any woman who want to be in your life. This is why you got to be so disciplined, because there's a certain person, there's certain people. Most times it's a very small group of people who literally is ordained to be in your life. And many times these aren't even the people who share your blood. I mean, your blood is your blood. They're your family. You love your family. But I'm speaking about connecting on a spiritual level. You have a soul tribe out here. Just like you said about your children. And see, I just made a whole recording on that the other day. People, I don't want to say regular people. I mean, because people are people. But people who are not called or chosen, who haven't answered the call. This is why they can't get, when I say you can be around 1,000 people, but you're still alone. You can be married. You can have 50 kids. This is an internal thing with you and God. So people, physical body being around you does not fulfill you. That's not what fulfills you. You have children who I'm sure you love from their head to their toe. But you're still lonely. They're pulling from you. So the only way that we feel fulfilled is purpose and calling, of course. And when we are intentional about getting back filled spiritually. But when we're looking for people to fill, even if God bring your helpmate tomorrow, He's not going to fulfill you. Of course, he's going to add that, especially because it's coming from God. So it's going to be this divine connection that you guys can ping back and forth off of each other. But even then, sometimes you're going to feel lonely. But if God has promised you that, sis, it's coming. And like I told you in the email reply, another thing that God shared with me to share was, it is crucial. It is absolutely crucial right now to stay in the moment. So we struggle with that. Many people struggle with that because survivor mode in general in life have you thinking so far ahead, right? Because survivor mode, you're trying to survive. So you're thinking about next week, next month. Oh my goodness, am I going to have a job? This is coming, that is coming. I don't have a retirement plan. Right? That's survivor mode. So we have to literally practice mindfulness. And it is the most difficult thing for myself. Right, I'm always 10 steps ahead of people. Seriously, seriously. But one thing that have really helped me with that is a solid morning routine. That can look like journaling, reading the word, starting the recording. Like I have to do the same exact things in the morning in order. If I don't, I'm just pinging all over the place. So ask God to give you grace and to give you downloads about certain things you can do that's going to help you be mindful and stay in the moment. This is a stay in the moment thing right now. Because child, some things are coming. So God is going to prepare you. The things he tells you to do now is what's going to really take care of you in those dark times. The money that you're talking about with the lawsuit, and to those of you who are waiting on wealth transfers or just money that God has promised you, that money, it may be held up right now because God is again trying to get you to receive some more insight on what to do with that. You might have an idea. You might think like, well, when that money is released, I want to put a down payment down on the house. I'm just saying. Or maybe that's not what God wants you to do. Yes, it's a great idea, but that's not what God wants you to do. That's not what the money is for. The money is for to start the process on an underground bunker. Because you could put the down payment down on the house that might be freaking blown up, or you can't even stay in there because some old craziness that happened in the next several years, where God is really trying to get you to start building something else is going to protect you, because he already know this not even going to help you in the next year. So you see why we have to, his ways are harder than our ways. So we keep thinking this, and that, this, and that. But I'm learning more and more. For me, definitely, because I'm just the visionary and the spiritual nudge person. When God says it, it is. There's just no question. And it always is. Always. But it's almost never the way I think it was going to happen. That would make us God. So if God says he's going to release this money, he's going to release it. If God says he had a helpmate for you, he has it for you. You can't question that. If God has given you a promise, the promise is. The issue is we keep trying to create the blueprint. And then God got to slow our behind down because you got the wrong insight. You're going to do the wrong thing. So let me hope this right quick. Let me hope this, because you're trying to play God. You think you know what you need, but you're not tapping in to hear what it is that I need. This thing is deep. It's deep. It's frustrating. It's edge snatching at times. But it requires us to be tapped in. As much as I know that I know that I know that I know, when I hear from God and things that God have shown me, I've been halted too. But it's okay. I promise you it's okay. Now, maybe a year ago, I would have been spinning my wheels and acting a fool and trying to get ahead of God. Like, God, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? But this is why it's a process, because the more you keep being processed, you get more solid over time. Since you've been up in this thing, I think you said, 4 years since your promise? Some people, it's been 10 years. Some it's been 20, right? 4 years is a long time. Some people it's been 4 months. So you see, it's literally a process. God has given me certain promises that manifested through God in months. But it was extreme warfare. Extreme warfare. But they manifested very quickly. And then there's two other promises that God maybe gave me 5-6 years ago. Where it's it's here. It's here, but now that I have the correct insights, the insights that I had years ago is completely different. So again, the promise is, but the insight of it is different. So this is why, again, God may be trying to hold you to get the correct insight, because the insight I have now versus what I had years ago is just like, whoa, I'm thankful now that you hold to me, because there's no way in the world I'll be able to keep it or maintain it if I didn't allow you to change my insight, be fluid enough for you to change your insight, not so stubborn and selfish and locked in on what I think the time frame should be, or what I think this, that, and the third should be. It's way more involved than you think. It's not perfect like you think. It's not all fairy tale and roses like you think. It's work. It will be attack. Anything from God will be attacked. Whoever your helpmate is that he promised you, you don't know what's going on that other side. He could have done open up a portal, doing some foolishness. I don't even know. I don't even know you, sir, whoever you are. He could have opened up a portal doing some foolishness and done mess around and got a whole witch somewhere up in his life. Now he got a whole crazy demonic something going on over there. And God can't release that to you. So let God do what God does. So we don't be knowing what's going on the other side. We think we know everything. We don't know nothing. We don't be knowing nothing, right? So you really don't know what's going on. Let God do what God do. Lastly, one thing that God shared with me is that for many of you, a lot of us right now, where we feel like there's this spiritual shift, and it's like it goes from high to low, up, down. One day you're excited, the next week you're just like, please, child, don't bother me. I ain't got time, right? I'm going back to my regular life. I ain't got time for the nonsense, right? To those of you, which is a lot of people right now, to those of you God also gave me a download that there's going to be a suddenly. Right? God is the God of suddenlies in general, because most breakthroughs happen suddenly, seriously, when you least expect it. I know any blessing that God had blessed me with, it literally was like a suddenly. There are maybe two things that was kind of like I can see it coming on, but most things is literally a suddenly. But what God shared with me is like those of you where that desire have gone and you just feeling like I'm just this ain't it. I don't even know what God is doing. Nothing makes sense right now. Everything that have been shifted and taken from you spiritually and emotionally is going to return suddenly. Like literally, it's going to return suddenly. You're going to feel that same desire. You're going to feel that same motivation. You're going to have that same focus, that same giddiness. But again, you're being tested. Are you going to only stick it out when you feel like it? Or are you going to stick it out because you know that you know that you know God can't lie? It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.